McLaren's massive turnaround midway through the season, from a team struggling to beat a Williams to a team winning Sprint Shootouts and finishing right behind Mercedes and Ferrari, was anything but luck, but rather a careful construct of technical car upgrades by their new team principal, Andrea Stella. Now, the Woking side has something to build upon in 2024, and early signs point to a season where we have to put McLaren in the fight for the first 3 spots. What are these upgrades, and how can they propel the team forward? The first weeks of the 2023 Formula One season raised concerns for McLaren as they seemed destined to struggle at the back of the pack, and the first warning signs emerged during the car launch when then technical director James Key acknowledged that the Challenger had fallen short of performance targets. With Lando Norris entering his 5th F1 season alongside highly anticipated rookie Oscar Piastri, the MCL 60 initially proved slow and uncompetitive, and shortly after the season began, Key left McLaren following the announcement of a new organisational structure. These changes initiated a remarkable turnaround for McLaren, but despite a sluggish start, the team managed to accumulate a few points in the early races, and a significant upgrade in Austria marked a turning point, propelling McLaren up the standings. In the following 2 races after the upgrade, Norris secured consecutive podium finishes, and this positive momentum persisted throughout the rest of the season, culminating in a total of 9 podiums, including 2 for rookie Oscar Piastri. Norris characterised McLaren's transformation as the most significant seen in any team over the past decade, and this success has instilled hope that McLaren can consistently contend at the front, having demonstrated competitiveness against traditional top teams on multiple occasions throughout the year. This was mostly because of the expertise and vision of Andrea Stella, who turned out to be McLaren's golden man. When news leaked over the winter that Andreas Seidel, the team principal who oversaw McLaren's Constructors' Championship climb from 9th to 3rd, plus a 2021 Italian Grand Prix victory, was to leave for Sauber, it felt as though the team's progress was in serious jeopardy. The chief architect had left, so would the Woking recovery plan crumble? Well, not a bit, thanks to Andrea Stella, who appears to have great swaths of the paddock falling at his feet. Since taking the job, his hair might have turned a touch more silver, but he's presently F1's golden boy, and McLaren staff love that the new boss is one of their own, rather than an external appointee. Stella, who joined the team in 2015, is a familiar face, and his promotion has set an aspirational precedent. It's thanks to his dramatically overhauled technical structure that McLaren has transformed from that sorry state into a team that has the pace to make Red Bull sweat. The new hierarchy might appear needlessly complex, with 3 heads of department in aerodynamics, performance and engineering, but that division of labour was conceived to give experts their own space in which to flourish. When talking about the restructure, Stella said, "The technical restructuring was a fundamental enabler. The restructuring itself includes people who haven't started yet. If we talk about the new technical configuration, which includes 3 technical directors, 2 of them haven't started yet. Peter Prodromo was in charge of aerodynamics, David Sanchez was in charge of performance and concepts, and Rob Marshall was in charge of engineering and design. Effectively, this structure has given clarity on the responsibilities and has also allowed, as it was essential in the short term, to restructure the aerodynamic department, putting Peter Prodromo in charge and supporting Giuseppe Pesce. These guys have been absolutely instrumental in setting the new direction for the design of the car from an aerodynamic point of view." He further added that the 9 podiums Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri scored in the second half of the year, as well as rookie Piastri's sprint win in Qatar, are the result of the people who are already in place at Woking. Similarly, its new wind tunnel, which came online in the summer, has only been used on the 2024 car project. But despite all this, Stella is careful not to set any elevated expectations for next year, saying that they will first look into the data and then work from there. Ultimately, in Formula One, we have the luxury of it being quite quantitative. You see what kind of progress you are making in the wind tunnel and the computer simulations, and you kind of know that a certain development rate will mean 0.2, half a second, or 0.7 better at the start of the season. Realistically, we know that if you want to retain your competitiveness going into next season, you need to have half a second in hand. Otherwise, it's like what you've seen at the end of a season. It looks like you're moving backwards. It's just because you are steady and everyone else is catching up. So first of all, we will look at the data. We already know pretty much this data, which I won't comment on. And then based on that, we will position the entire team internally and externally. We don't have to create false expectations, because then reality comes to you in a violent way, and we don't want to find ourselves in this position. At the same time, we don't want to downplay too much and then find we weren't ready to fight at the front and we didn't make good decisions because of that. So just stick with the data, be realistic and be honest. That's our philosophy. To be honest, Andrea Stella seems to be a very open and pragmatic individual. Apparently, he's also a very good leader for the McLaren team, and the team is strong. So he's building on that strength, not to mention he has the advantage of having two very good young drivers. I believe that both Norris and Piastri will be Grand Prix winners at some point, and I hope that begins in 2024. Seeing them compete for wins against each other would be fantastic. McLaren does have one advantage over the other teams chasing Red Bull, as they have already used the pull front, push rear suspension similar to Red Bull. If they can design as much anti-dive and anti-squat into theirs as Newey did into the RB19, they should stabilize their chassis to allow them to refine their aero package, even though Red Bull also has such a strong floor diffuser package, so they'll be very hard to catch. Lando is also optimistic, as he is experiencing bigger changes from the team next season, and says that the team can focus on more problems than one. I expect almost bigger changes than we've had over the last year. I feel like we've been in a place now more than ever where we can tackle more things at once. If you're still last, you kind of try to focus a little more on one thing, just making the car a little bit quicker. Now I think we're in a much better position because we can focus on some of the finer details, which we've not really been able to improve much at all over the last 5 years, and things that I would love to have more of as a driver and that I think would suit me more as a driver are trying to work on those things. One of McLaren's main advantages is primarily attributed to the formidable strength of its driver duo. Lando Norris, probably one of the best in the field, consistently showcased his ability throughout the season, and paired with Oscar Piastri, who demonstrated his talent this year, the duo forms a potent combination that holds unbelievable potential to propel the team to success. Despite the car's speed, Norris, with 7 podium finishes, remains on the brink of securing his first Grand Prix victory, a milestone that appears inevitable in the future. Piastri's impressive performances earned him a contract extension until the conclusion of the 2026 season, which in my opinion is a clear and undeniable proof of McLaren's confidence in his abilities. Together, they constitute one of the most advantageous driver lineups on the grid, and as long as McLaren continues to deliver strong performances, the duo undoubtedly has the capability to raise the team to new heights. Whether that will happen will be primarily a result of their own hard work during the off-season, but also how good of a car the engineers in Woking can make, because a start like McLaren had in 2023 should not happen again, and seeing all this, which we talked about in the video, probably won't. The team has invested in the future, not only with Piastri and Norris, but also with personnel and back at the McLaren Technology Centre, so it will take some time to see if these changes will bring success. One thing is clear though, if McLaren can string a complete season together, they will be a force at the front of the grid for many seasons to come. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think McLaren will have a good 2024 season? Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one.